All right, so let's watch this HR expert who says that we should stop going above and beyond at work. This is a hot topic. It was a really hot topic last year with all the quiet quitting. But I definitely wanted to hear. I wanted to hear and share this HR expert's opinion on just how hard we should be working at work. All right, y'all, let me know what y'all think. It's Ricky Rich with Black Primacy. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on your notifications.
Hello and welcome to the show. You know, this modern day workforce is full of bold, sharp, and really talented young people who are prepared to play by their own rules. These new employees aren't staying at jobs that no longer serve their career goals. My first guest today suggests that all women, particularly Black women, should follow in their footsteps. I know that's raising some eyebrows already. Krishna Powell is the CEO of HR for Your Small Biz, and she's also a seasoned HR professional with more than 30 years of experience. She says it's time for Black women to burn the superwoman cape, stop going above and beyond at work all the time, a notion that really kind of goes against what our parents told us about always being the best, right? Please welcome Krishna Powell to the show. Hello.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Nice to have you here. I want to dive right in because you know, and I know, and they all know that our parents, our grandparents said, you got to be the best, you got to be the brightest, you got to be the earliest, you got to stay the latest, all of those things to stand out and compete just to get the job and then keep it.
Exactly.
You say that has shifted. How so?
It has. So my question a lot of times to leaders is, where has that gotten us? Because they saw someone such as myself say, thank you for 20 years of service. Here's your severance. We no longer need you.
That was your experience personally.
Yes.
And that hurt.
Exactly. And leaders are going through that now. And they're thinking, I've given my all. I've given you my very best, especially Black women. And then to be told it's not enough. Oftentimes, they will still choose someone less qualified than you, just for the sake of keeping an image, keeping you in a box, and wanting you to only achieve a certain level.
So from a workforce standpoint, what does that look like for you and the lessons that you have learned that you now share with others, right? You get so far, you've done all the things you said you were supposed to do. What do you tell women who have gotten we thank you for your time and commitment, but we're going in a different direction now. Not because you did anything wrong, but because we're changing the model.
So I tell leaders, go in, and women in particular, do your best, but don't give them your best. And so what that means is that work with what they've given you, but don't try to turn water into wine and think that because we do that, that means we're going to come out on top, because we're not.
So I know there's going to be somebody who's listening and says, are you saying don't do your very level best? Because it sounds like that is kind of what you're saying.
What I'm saying is, if they give you and say, here is what I want you to work with, that's what you work with.
So then how do you stand out if everybody is working with all the same, especially in jobs where the task is essentially the same for a bunch of different people? How do you stand out if you're not sort of putting your own shine on it?
Quality. So you deliver it back to them, a quality package, a quality service, but at the same time, you know, that staying late, coming in early, sacrificing your family, your health, to put the bow on everything and hope that when they open the package, they go, wow, you're fantastic. They're not doing that. And when you look at the generations and what's going on in the workplace, mental health is suffering. People are physically suffering. Why? Because you've given so much of yourself that you have even forgotten to take care of yourself. So do that first and foremost before you go ahead and put the bow on for everybody else.
So for women particularly who are trying to move up the corporate ladder, let's say, and really in the industry, but that corporate ladder, those women trying to make it to the C-suite, what does that look like when so much of what we have to do professionally does come with a sacrifice personally?
So If you want to make that sacrifice, I'm not saying you cannot make that sacrifice or don't make it. Just know the cost. Are you really willing to pay the cost in regards to your health, your mental well-being, as well as understand the fact that if there is a choice between the numbers and your position, it will always be your position.
Yeah.
If you walk into it understand exactly. If you walk into it understanding that, then go for it. But don't be surprised and upset and disappointed when you find that your position is no longer needed.
So then again, I want to sort of drill down though on women who may be in their 30s, in their 40s, because as we see with this generation, they're like, okay, we watch the aunties and the uncles, do this whole stay for 20-some years, and sometimes it pays off and sometimes it doesn't. What do you say to those who say, I'm not going to take that traditional path? How do you then stand out if you're going to open your own business or work in a contracted position? How is that looking?
So the way it looks is, again, you do the job, you do it to the best of your ability. You think about the sacrifices that you're willing to make, and if it is fine with you, you go ahead and do them. But what it looks like you're doing is, yeah, it's okay to stay late. It's okay to come in early. But do you have to do it all the time or just some of the time?
Right. It's the balance, right?
Exactly.
Because sometimes you are going to have to miss an after-school program.
Right.
But then on that one where they're like, no, Mom, you really got to come to this one.
Exactly.
That's the balance.
And that's where you weigh what matters most to me in this moment. So we have to decide. I had to decide going up that corporate ladder, the sacrifices I was willing to make. I did miss some events with my children.
Absolutely.
But I had the conversations with my children, with my family, saying, hey, this is what it's going to take for me to achieve it. Is everybody on board? Right. Am I on board? Am I going to deal with this uncontrollable or undeniable guilt that, oh, the world is coming to an end for me personally because I'm not there?
Got it. Biggest lesson you learned quickly, just about yourself in your personal journey that you hope women will be able to appreciate?
The biggest thing that I have learned is that I'm worth it. And we forget that. I forgot that I was worth it. That, you give so much to your job, your children, and everyone else, and you forget even how to dream again.
Right.
So
and you forget to ask for what you are worth.
Yes.
That's good. We're going to pause right there. This is good conversation. It's about to get better. Because society says Gen Zennials are not loyal to their employers, but I'm going to introduce you to two young professionals who are here to set the record straight. After the break, to Corey and Claire weigh in about this new age workforce. They say they got a little, something we can learn from them as well. I believe it. Let's see what they have to say after the break.
I wish I would have seen this this second segment. I'm curious as to what they'll say. Maybe I'll find it. This video was good. They targeted towards women, but I think it's for all, but especially for the Black community specifically, because I think we find it, especially these days, the hardest to be recognized, right? I mean, there were, the companies that were fake supporting the Black community are all pulling back on DEI, which like I've said before, I'm perfectly fine with, because I don't want to be represented at a company that does not want anything to do with me. So that's fine. There are still a lot of companies out there that have a culture of diversity, equity, and inclusion. So without having to have the title. And so those are the companies that we need to strive and work for. But that's not what this video is about. I think that this is very informative on kind of how to move in a company. I think the biggest takeaway from this video, though, is what she said about looking at the entire scope of what you are trying to do, and making and if you're comfortable with that, if you're okay with that, then making your decision based off that. I really like that, because I tell people that in all sorts of different different aspects of life, right? Not just with work, but pretty much with anything where it's like there's a lot of risk involved, right? And it's like, yeah, you can do that and that's perfectly fine, but you have to understand what you are where you are moving towards, what you're getting yourself into. And then if you so happen to run across the same situation that you were warned about, yeah, you can be disappointed because that's a natural thing, but you really cannot be mad. You cannot be mad, and because you've weighed out the option, you decided that the risk was worth it. And so, like she said, if your goal is getting in, as a black person, or they were talking specifically as a black woman, you want to get into the C-suite, you have to know what that what challenges that comes with, what the likelihood of that actually happening is, and how to navigate that when you get to that point, or how to navigate uh, uh, what could likely happen, which is you not getting there, or you not getting there the way that you thought that you would, and how to navigate that from that point. So I think this was that was the biggest takeaway that I wanted to definitely um, highlight, was that. And again, that's to me, that should be across all decision making when it comes, especially when you're like in a situation where you know that there's risk involved, right? I mean, it's very simple. Just say, ask yourself, if this doesn't work out, it's almost like gambling, right? If you go to a table and it's $100 to get on the table, right? You have to be able, right? You know that there's a big chance that you're gonna lose this $100. You got everybody around you telling like, "Hey, man, I wouldn't do it. It's $100. I wouldn't do it." If you decide, that's when you make that decision. If you decide to say, "Okay, I'm gonna put this $100 down and I'm going to bet," if and when you lose that $100, that bet, you can't you how can you can be disappointed, but you cannot be mad. The odds were against you. So I really like this. All that to say, um, going, I advocate for entrepreneurship. I think going above and beyond, as they mentioned in this video, is long gone. It's dead. It's behind us. Just simply because companies aren't willing to go above and beyond for you. We've seen examples, time and time again. We've seen more examples. If you look at some of the people in your life, and if you just talk to some of the people, the older people in your life, they'll be all the examples that you need to tell you that, working a job in most cases, right? Working a job for 30 years, uh, and being able to retire comfortably and live the rest of your days um, comfortable is like a myth, and it's getting worse as time progresses. So we really got to take control of our own future, our own destiny, financially, and going to work, doing a good job, but on the outside of work, focusing on ourselves, our health, entrepreneurship, trying to figure out how to retire early, or at least retire from the corporate world early, should be the goal. Not giving these companies extra time just so that they can eliminate your job later and you got to start all over. Better take some of that time that you've given to your company and pour back into yourself. Very simple concept, just hard for a lot of people to do. All right. But yeah, this was good. Y'all let me know what y'all think though. All right, it's Ricky Rich with Black Primacy. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on your notifications.